Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. More on the Eagles and Chiefs after digesting this one for a couple more hours, right, compared to the instant reaction show. And wow, there's a lot here. I keep hearing this phrase, and it bothers me. And this is basically going to be the focus of the show. The quote, "How much longer can we get lucky for?" End quote. Or something along those lines. They can't keep squeezing games out like this. It will cost them a bunch. How much luckier can they get? And while I agree that you can't play the way they played against Kansas City every single week and think that you're going to finish with a beautiful record, but when you look at the totality of Jalen Hurts after his last 28 games, he's 26-2. There's something to that. When the team is down or tied, his numbers are second in the league or first in the league, depending on the category you're studying. It's ridiculous to see the quarterback lead the team no matter what the circumstances are, and I think that's more of the focus. I do agree that it is bizarre to think that they don't play their best football week in and week out, but when you're 9-1 in 10 games and the teams that you're playing against, the win percentage is outrageous. You're not just beating up on bad teams. You're not just playing nobodies, which was the problem in years past. Look at the quarterbacks that Gannon was facing. Look at some of the offenses. They are abysmal. They can't even throw the football. That's not the case right now. You're beating the Dolphins. You're beating the Cowboys. You're beating a Kansas City team on the road. They don't get beat in Arrowhead like that. All right, Andy Reid coming off of a bye. You found a way. And when you do that over X amount of games, especially you go to the Super Bowl, and now you're following that up 10 games into the season, you're 9-1. I'm sorry, this whole lucky thing, there's more to it than just luck, because if it was just luck, you wouldn't be 9-1. You wouldn't. You can't consistently play like they've played, and they haven't been perfect. There's no sugarcoating that. They have not been playing super dominant football every single second of the day. There are some times you wonder how they pulled that one out. But if you constantly say, how'd they pull that out? 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 There's something within that's giving them the power to pull it out. They're great. Their leader is one of the best leaders that we've seen on a football field. His intangibles that we knocked Carson Wentz for not having, that's helping carry this team when things get thick, when you're really in the we need it now moment, when it's the time to win the game and figure out a way to do it. And it was bad with Brian Johnson. It was bad with some of those screen calls, and it was bad with some of those 3-and-outs, especially the one right after Travis Kelce fumbles and Roby punches it out. Disgrace. But here's Jalen Hurts at the line of scrimmage, realizing that he can check to Devontae Smith, and then he hits a home run down to the 1-yard line. That's it right there. That's the example on why it's just not, quote, luck. That's Jalen Hurts with the game on the line, recognizing that this is something we need to do that could be a difference-making play, and they go out and win the football game. So those details matter, and it stems from the way the quarterback carries himself. And you might not like that because it really is about arm talent and IQ and this and that. It's not really about the leadership quality and the way you carry yourself, right? Like you hear that all the time. Well, you're putting too much stock in the intangibles. If they can't play, they can't play. Whoop-de-doo is a good leader. If he can't play, he can't play. Yeah, but he's got both. He can play, and he's a great leader. Now, what do you do with that? You go 9-1 in your 10 games. It's just that simple. All right, now, I want to tell you guys about HelloFresh before we get even more into the show. And sometimes you work with all these companies and people think you're just spieling bullshit because, well, they're paying you to say this. Let me tell you something. I started utilizing HelloFresh before we even worked together. I loved what they did so much that I reached out and said, I love your product. it changed my life forever. I enjoy cooking every night. I enjoy saving money instead of eating out. This is 25% less expensive than eating out, and I'm getting home-cooked meals, over 40 recipes to choose from every single week. It gets delivered right to your doorstep, pre-portioned. You can't screw anything up. The ingredients are right there, already measured out for you. You just follow along on the step-by-step recipe card. I love what you did for me. Let's work together. All right, this is real from the bottom of my heart. Incredible. HelloFresh is incredible. And you get 50% off and free shipping with promo code 50Broads. That's HelloFresh.com/50Broads for 50% off plus free shipping. Every single night I'm opening up my HelloFresh saying, babe, it's time, and you can see her eyes light up. She's excited because HelloFresh has turned me into one of the greatest chefs to ever live. I'm the Jalen Hurts in the kitchen. You heard that right. I'm Tom Brady in the kitchen. And it's really not because of anything I'm doing. It's all because of HelloFresh. They are America's #1 meal kit. Make sure you join the HelloFresh family down below. All the information is there. This is courtesy of Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports. The Eagles have the highest strength of victories of any NFC team with over 3+ wins. Hurts when tied or trailing. Completion rate is second in the NFL. Interception rate is second in the NFL. And passer rating is first in the NFL. He has 44 carries, 204 yards, 6 touchdowns, which is first in the NFL. This is when you are tied or trailing a game. So how do we climb back? What are we doing when we are losing to put us at an advantage to try and get back into this one? We're down 7. We're down 3. We're down 10. Let's go, fellas. We got to rally. There's something to be said about how you can never count this team out. And whether it's 1 play or 4 plays or 7 plays or 3 plays, Jalen Hurts, whatever is needed. Every game dictates something different. On that given night, with all the eyeballs, and you see the numbers that were popping off with the ESPN, millions and millions and millions of people viewing in to see that happen live. Hopefully they waited to the end to see how it all finished up, because if you went to sleep at halftime, or if you went to sleep right after the third quarter first drive from your Eagles, you go, all right, I can wrap this up, go to bed. Then you wake up and say, what? What? They did it again? You have Cowboys fans crying. They are literally in tears crying because they know that the Arizona Cardinals loss might come back to bite them and blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, you look at these two teams competing, and the Eagles are on a totally different level than Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. They're a nice team. I'll label them a nice team. They're above average. They're better than some. But Tom Brady said it best, too. Go look around the NFL right now. I ain't seeing good football. All right, when the Birds don't play on Sunday at 1 o'clock, that 1 o'clock red zone doesn't hit like it used to. And don't be some macho man that says, I love football. I can watch all the time. No, I'm not going to pretend like watching Tommy DeVito and watching the Jets quarterback and watching the Raiders and watching some of these teams. Get real. The NFL sucks outside of a handful of teams. So to be above average this year, sit on something. All right, sit on something. Sit on something. I don't know what that was. I can't make a statement like that with whatever the hell that the decimal level was. But anyway, dude, the Birds are 50,000 times better than these NFC teams. Even the Lions and Dan Campbell all fired up. And it's pretty funny, right? Because the NFL world likes Dan Campbell. And truth be told, I like Dan Campbell. He's very similar in a way to Nick Sirianni. He gets mocked in the beginning, eating kneecaps. What are we doing? Biting someone's knees off. But then the way the team resonates with toughness, I really do like Dan Campbell a lot. And it's cool to see his story in the Lions and all that. But when Dan Campbell is in the locker room getting hype and screaming and getting the teammates pumped up after a win, especially how they won against Chicago, it's viewed a certain way. Here's Nick Sirianni walking off the field, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, telling Kansas City fans to shut up and be quiet. Not to their faces. This is him after he's in the tunnel, and it's him expressing how he feels, and he's very animated. He's very active on the sidelines. He does the whole shebang, right? And my personal opinion on it, I don't care. Go win football games. If you win football games, I don't care if you scream, if you rant, if you do this, if you do that. And I think it comes with the territory. I had somebody reach out to me. I haven't spoken to them in quite a bit of time, but they're discussing about how boring it is that the Eagles just keep winning. And they're a fan of the Chicago Bears, so of course I had to make fun of them. But they're like, I hate when the Eagles keep winning. They're boring. Okay, so now we might be in the territory of where the New England Patriots were, where you can write them into an AFC championship game. You can write them into a playoff run, and you know they're going to win a couple playoff games. It gets stale. You start to hate them. Okay, you like the Tom Brady story when he takes over originally, Michigan late round pick, and then he becomes Tom Brady. It's a hate to face. Now, I love greatness, so it's different for me. LeBron, Tom Brady, all that stuff. I mean, once you're already acknowledged as one of the best to ever do it in the sport, like Pat Mahomes, that stuff never bothers me. I want to beat them. I want to destroy them. But for a while, the Sixers were irrelevant, and LeBron facing the Spurs or the Cavs versus the Warriors, Steph Curry. I love greatness, so that would never bother me the way it bothers other people. But it bothers other people when you are great. Dan Campbell is the fresh new toy of a team that is always a disaster, always bad. If they keep this up for 10 years, maybe it does get boring. Maybe it won't because it's tied to the Lions, and the Lions always suffer. I don't know. The Eagles always have sustained success going back to Andy Reid, and watching Pat Mahomes deal with no wide receivers, I feel bad for the dude. He's going through what Donovan McNabb went through. I bet you McNabb has PTSD when he tunes in to watch Kansas City play because he realizes, I had to do that. And you would think that Andy Reid would realize what held him back before, what costed them. You go get T.O., you go to the Super Bowl, right? Like, dude, go get a special weapon. Go get your guy someone who can catch a football instead of dropping a wide-open touchdown pass to take the lead back and get a win that you probably deserved. But instead, he's standing or laying down face first in the end zone, and he's smacking the ground because he knows he screwed one up. He was wide open, man, wide open. Okay, we got calls and plenty of things to react to, and yeah, I need to take a sip of my coffee. I do have some thoughts still on Brian Johnson and others, but we'll incorporate some calls. Give me one. Well, you know what? I'll play a call and drink the coffee. Let's use our brain here, Broads.
What's up, Broads? That's an awesome. I don't know how in the world we won that game. You tell me, man. It's 11:25 or 11:26 right now. I got work tomorrow, but I am this is my tired voice, but I'm just excited that the Eagles were able to pull this one out. Great win, gritty, tough. A lot of questionable calls by the Zebras. You know, they wanted to get in on this game. I didn't like it. I don't think any Eagles fan liked it, but just great, solid effort, especially from our defense, pitching that shutout. I know you'll talk about later, man, but we got to do something with this play calling. That was just horrendous first half. Even in the third quarter, you can probably either it was a third or fourth quarter where it was just two straight passes to either sideline that made no sense. Have no idea, but you know what? A win's a win, dude. And go Birds, man.
Go Birds! I don't know if the flags and the penalties and the referees tried to get involved. I don't think that was part of my storyline. I think that this was played pretty much within the field, and just the Eagles won. But to your point on Brian Johnson, that's perfect, and it led me exactly where I wanted to go. See, this is the danger of winning games, right? As if there's a problem with winning games. But when you do, you lose some of the things that get focused on, and I've been very, 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 very honest with you the entire time. Before the Chiefs game, I thought that while there were clearly things that were not perfect with Brian Johnson. There were clearly things that were improving each week. So it started out super ugly. Red zone design were trash, and they were not scoring touchdowns. Then they started to score more touchdowns. Dallas Goedert wasn't getting incorporated. Then things started to change a little bit, and he started to getting involved more, right? So things were happening. Things were improving. I thought it was a little aggressive. The offense was doing well. He took a major step back in that game against Kansas City. Zero creativity, very blah. And I heard some arguments made to support Brian Johnson, and I lean towards supporting Brian Johnson more than I'd say a lot of this fan base does right now. You want to get the ball out quick because your offensive line was struggling due to Spags and the way Kansas City was forcing all sorts of havoc to happen up front, and they were getting to Jalen Hurts quickly, and we were screaming, what's up with this O-line? They're not in sync. They're all out of touch. You could see there's miscommunication. Guys are missing assignments. This is a tragedy, and we're not accustomed to this, but credit to the Chiefs' defensive front because, well, there's a reason why Spags is getting a lot of love this year, and I feel you. I do. And you would think from a general sense, how do you beat that? How do you negate that? Let's get it out quick. Go find Devontae Smith. Go find Julio Jones. At the same rate, though, it was so problematic and so ugly. I can't live, even facing a good defense. And you're seeing numbers like, oh, well, this is the first time the Chiefs defense allowed more than X amount of points, an arrowhead, and this and that. Yeah, but if we're looking at ourselves at a real legitimate Super Bowl contender, and we are, I can't have you looking like the Jets for 3/4 of a football game. Looking like the Jets with Zach Wilson. That's different than struggling and no. Looking like the Jets with Zach Wilson, the guy who was selected number 2 overall and is now their 3rd-string quarterback 2 seasons in a row. That's the tragedy of it all. So all the other games, I thought it was too intense. This game, it's more fair. But I have to admit, that as some hours move forward here and we move along and we think about what's next and the Bills and who you see coming up on the rest of this gauntlet, San Francisco will be fun. The Dallas Cowboys in Dallas will be fun. All of that, I'm not as angry as I am after the game with Brian Johnson because winning heals everything. You're putting a Band-Aid on it. So we'll see. I thought it was a stinker from Johnson, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go play Buffalo on Sunday afternoon at 4:20, 4:05, whatever game, 4:25 probably, 4:05, one of those 4 o'clock starts. And they look great. And they look awesome in their first drive, and they have a good sustained drive, and they incorporate DeAndre Swift better and all of that. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I don't think Brian Johnson is dumb, but with this particular game, I feel that the winning has put less of an emphasis on it for me now that we're a couple days removed compared to me being hot right off the skillet, if you will, seconds after that game was over because, you know, it sounded sometimes like I was extremely pissed and extremely aggravated with the offense in a huge win on the road that they didn't deserve to win, and I was, but I wasn't also losing sight of the greatness of this team, right? There was sort of mixed emotions happening after the game. Well, some of that went to sleep. Some of that's in nap mode right now because I'm more in the whoo-hoo-hoo, oh, baby, oh, baby. You know how many, oh, baby. I don't know what word I said prior to that, but baby, oh, baby. But this group, you could see an NFL team play to 60, 70% of their standards and never be close to sniffing 9-1. You know what you are in 10 games when you do that? 6-4. 6-4. That's what you are. You're not 9-1. So with the overall view of 10 games, knowing that they really haven't been their best yet, they're 9-1, that tells me whenever they do get their best, good luck. Hey, I also want to tell you about my friends at TickPick. I bought tickets for a family member recently, and it's getting close to the holidays. I surprised them early, and I said, I want to get you to a game. Their schedule is a little different. Out of town after the holidays. They don't live around here. They're coming in. I'm like, I want to get you some tickets. And luckily, TickPick has really gave us one hell of a deal. If you click the link down below in the description, my promo code's already activated with it, so it will bring you to TickPick, and you will receive $10 off of your purchase if you spend over $99 and go call a family member, a loved one, your kids, your cousin, whatever, and say, let's go watch Joel Embiid and the Sixers. Let's go watch John Tortorella and the Orange and Black, who are playing great hockey. They won 5 straight games. Or let's go to an Eagles game. I'm handing you $10 thanks to my friends at TickPick, and they have the best prices out there. Their ticket prices will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. They're so confident about it, they guarantee it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you get 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. And there's also upfront pricing, meaning no more doing the math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price on other sites, because the price you see on TickPick is the price you pay, period, end of story. So do not miss out. Get yourself to a game today. Do not be a fool. Okay, let's go to Zach in Baltimore and head back to the phones.
Holy hell, bros, what a game. I mean, in a game that the Eagles got out-eagled by time of possession and rushing yards and plays run and all that, you still come out with the win. Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith to get it down there and you know, just a beautiful win. You know, defense shut them down in the second half. You did get help from some key drops. And one wide open down the end zone would have been a touchdown. But, man, I mean, that was a hell of a game. I knew it was going to be a close game. I came in saying, fucking smoke them, 44-6. But you knew in the back of your mind, Andy Reid coming off a bye week, it's in Arrowhead. If you win, it was going to be a close game. And, hey, they got it done, man. Let's go, baby. Go, Birds.
The 44-6 thing has me dying. Yeah, of course, right? Friday, football Friday. How you feeling? What's the post like out there? Oh, 44-6! I'm just picturing someone maybe who's getting interviewed for 6 ABC News or CBS, and they said, oh, we got Eagles fans that are hanging out in front of Xfinity Live. How do you feel about the game? There's 6 people hanging out in Kelly Green jerseys. They got Bud Lights hanging out their pockets, Miller Lights, Coors Lights. You know, Daddy Reed, got demolished. Go eat a burger. Right, that's why I picture Zach was like heading into the game. But 14 of 22 for Jalen Hurts, 150 yards, 0 touchdowns passing with the 1 interception, 5 sacks. DeAndre Swift ran hard, though. Hard. Devontae Smith, 99 yards. A.J. Brown only had 1 reception. 1 frickin' reception on 4 targets. They did get lucky, though, because one of those sideline passes to Devontae Smith, they got a super good jump on it. It really could have been a pick 6, and things would have got a little bit ugly and a little upsetting. A big pit in the stomach where the heart drops, and it's just this big ball of, oh, no, oh, no, oh, no. That was probably majority of the game, though, no? Do we give Byard some love? In the beginning, it wasn't great. You see some miscommunication. You see a guy wide open, Watson, in the end zone. He does get the pick. Now, Pat Mahomes threw it a little bit behind his receiver. I think there was plenty of green grass in front of him. If he led him more towards the out of bounds and more towards the pylon, I don't know if Byard can get back and jump up and make that catch, but that's the point of this game, is people are going to make mistakes. Can you cash in on it? One thing that bothered me about Travis Kelce after the game, when he stood in front of his locker and talked about what happened, what did they do in the second half? They didn't do anything. This was us. They didn't do anything. Oh, what happened with that fumble? Let me ask you a question. You don't think that Roby did something to make that fumble happen? That didn't just, whoops. That wasn't just a whoops. That wasn't a, I just lost grasp. Oh, the football just slipped out of my hands. It was rainy, and I don't know. No, Roby comes in and goes, fuck you. Fuck you. And the ball gets loose, and there you go, win a football game. Although not the sequence right after that. You know, you get my point. Let's go to Sam.
9-1, baby. Let's go Birds. Here's what we're not going to do. We are not going to move the goalposts because the Eagles are successful. Oh, well, we didn't blow out the Chiefs in Arrowhead. You were just down by 10 points at halftime to Mahomes in Kansas City, and you won the game. Anybody who was not happy, anybody who was not cheering and ecstatic for the next 5 days needs to check themselves. Go Birds.
Now, who goes into Arrowhead, to your point, and does beat them down 30-14? That's not a thing, and it was never going to be this way. The spread was the spread for a reason. The spread, not that Vegas is always right, but they have a tell, and they're normally close. It's a 2.5 point spread. I took the Eagles at plus 2.5. Now, I also took Jalen Hurts over 236 passing yards, so I was wrong with that one. But hey, you should join me. There's a lot of Sixers games and a lot of Flyers games before the Eagles play next. You got to jump in on the action, man. You got to look at DeAnthony Melton's over. You got to look at Tobias Harris's over, and you have to join me on MyBookie. Skip the argument with Uncle Dave on Thanksgiving and focus on what really matters. Good food, boosted odds, and hitting those Turkey Day parlays. Picture this, not just watching games, but turning every second into a potential win. With MyBookie, you can stream the games and live bet them and even turn the game day into a payday. So ready to up your game? Sign up today and make your first deposit with promo code BROADS for a sweet deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's MyBookie giving you free money to bet with. That's promo code BROADS to claim your bonus right now. This is not just a promo code, it's your secret weapon to get the extra edge on the house. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Make sure you click the link down below in the description. There's so many great things that you can bet on. And yeah, I did cash out on the Eagles plus 2.5. I wanted to go money line badly, but for some reason I got scared right before I hit before I hit my ticket to punch in after I deposited my cash, and I went with the spread just for the little security, just for the little safety blanket. But I should have trusted my gut and say Birds all the way, Birds money line. The Eagles have 13 straight wins versus a team with a winning record. That doesn't happen by accident. That's a lot. That's a lot. 13 straight wins against a team with a winning record. Changing your OC, changing your DC. There was realness to that. It's brand new coaches at premium positions. What's the steady? What's the same? Well, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown. And I would even say that A.J. Brown is elevated, right? He was great last year. He's even better this year. Quiet weekend, but 100+ every single week. Prior to that, it felt like you could just write it in. Well, 100+, 100+, 100+, 100+, 100+. Guy's a monster. So he's even elevated. But the constant is Sirianni and Hurts. And what I know in this league, when you have a constant with the quarterback and a head coach that are on the same page clicking, and their message is working and their brand is real, then you always have a shot at this thing. I'll leave you guys on this. It's actually funny. I quote tweeted this person. Social media was going haywire, and I was part of that. In-game, live tweeting, I was a part of that. But when they were losing, I got this tweet from Evan. Honestly, bros, what is the point of watching this team if they can't beat the Chiefs? This was at 9:44. So what's that, about an hour and a half into the game? They'll make it back to the Super Bowl and then lose to them again? Is it really worth it? Now, my response was, yes, Evan. It's worth playing in another Super Bowl. But that's where they were, in the trenches. I've never seen a team with the Eagles get beat up as badly as they did in the trenches. They don't do that. Every single week, we go on Football Friday. Why can they win? O-line, D-line. Why can they win? They value the trenches. Why can they win? Jason Kelsey. Why can they win? Lane Johnson. Why can they win? Jalen Carter. Why can they win? Hassan Reddick. They were getting eaten alive. Very rare. And they still won that game. So to get back to the main point that started this whole thing off, is it luck or is it real? Because after so many weeks, so many wins against teams with winning records, 28 games, you're 26-2. I'm looking at that. The overall picture of 28 games. And I go, no. There's something to that. It's real. Winning football is real. with Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. All right, everybody, I appreciate it. We'll be talking again very, very soon. Have happy holidays, of course. Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. It snuck right up on us. Yes, 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 it did. Love you guys to death, and we will be talking on the next one.